They say that a bad day of fishing is better than a good day at work. Well, on this week's episode of the 262 Fishing Friday Forum, a bad day of fishing is exactly what we're talking about. Before we get into this week's episode, I want to remind you to subscribe if you're not already. Push the red button down below. Subscribe. We're trying to get to 250 subscribers so we can give away this MEPS Basser Kit to one of you lucky subscribers. Now, we finally broke 200 last week. Let's keep it going. Get to that 250 mark. This week's episode of the 262 Fishing Friday Forum, we're talking about that fishing trip where just nothing really seems to go right. The trip where it's not just you got skunked, but maybe you put a hole in your boat, lost your favorite rod and reel set to a 30-foot hole in the water. Something along those lines. Something where you look back and you're just frustrated at it. Hopefully by now you can laugh at it. Well, a few weeks ago, I set out with my childhood rod and reel set that I told you guys about in the first ever 262 Fishing Friday Forum. And I was doing it to try and show that this setup still works even after all of these years. Well, I wanted to take this out to a river because if you guys know this or not, I really struggle with river fishing. You guys have seen almost all of my episodes are inland lakes, especially here in Waukesha County. But I really struggle with river fishing. And if you saw one of my recent videos where the grind was just the grindiest of all the grinds, a lot of those spots I wasn't catching fish was in a river. Well, I wanted to try and conquer my fear of rivers, so I set out with my childhood setup with the MEPS inline spinner to a river, and I had a positive attitude. I was ready to rock and roll, and then this happened. Oh no! Oh, this is sad. This is sad. I knew I had micro cracks in here. What would happen if I just kept casting? Oh, well, there's my answer. Man. Alright. Alright, so I was expecting this to happen at some point. This rod has had microfractures in it for about a year, and it's about a 20 to 25 year old rod, and it's taken a lot of abuse. So yeah, I'm upset and frustrated, but you know, these things happen. So I went to one of my favorite places in the whole wide world, Dick Smith's Bait and Tackle. It's in the Smiley Face Barn in Oconomowoc, which is in Waukesha County. When you think of bait shops in Waukesha County, most people immediately think of Dick Smith's. So I went there, bought a cheap replacement rod, one of the cheapest rods I could find. So I took that out, basically pretended it was my old rod, but kept going with inline spinners, threw a MEPS 5, which is one of the bigger sized MEPS Aglia inline spinners, and threw it out, and this is what happened. What is this? How in the world? Alright, so at this point, this is over the course of multiple trips, by the way. I've broken a rod, I've lost a really good lure, I'm just sort of down, right? So I'm thinking, I gotta do something to really change my momentum, change the game, but still challenge myself. So I went to a mill pond that's on my list of every lake in Waukesha County where I'm trying to catch a fish. I took the kayak out because I figured, well, might as well have more opportunities, right? Limited opportunities from shore. A kayak gets me out on the water, more opportunities, right? So I get the kayak out, I fish for about an hour and a half because that's all the time I have. I get nothing. So what's the point of all of that last part? Well, just because you're having a bad day, a rough trip, maybe even have a bad attitude, doesn't mean you can't still have a positive outcome. As I was getting ready to leave and pull my kayak out of the water for the day, I ran into these two kids that were fishing from shore. One of them had actually snagged his lures in the weeds and he couldn't get it out. He asked me if I could help him out, and of course I'm going to. And so even though I was having a rough, week really, not just a day on the water, I still was able to help him out, and that actually made me feel a little bit better. Now, it's a simple thing that I would assume anybody would do because we've all felt the pain of losing a lure, and obviously I had just gone through that. I knew how frustrating it is, so I didn't want him to go through the same thing. So shout out to Nate and Luke. It was nice meeting you guys. Hopefully you found the channel okay and you're watching this so you can tell all your friends, hey, I'm famous, at least for 200 some people watching. But now the community aspect and the forum comes into play, where I ask you to comment down below, what's that story that you had that was just maybe a terrible fishing trip, still better than any day at work, but just that fishing trip that you look back on, and hopefully now you can laugh and say, man, that was just miserable. But let me know down in the comments section, if nothing else, to make me feel better about what I'm doing. Also, if you're into river fishing, I know I've gotten some suggestions from some of you. I think I kind of know what I'm supposed to be doing now, but give me some suggestions down in the comment section for how I'm supposed to river fish, because I'm still trying to catch a fish in every lake in Waukesha County, and that's going to include mill ponds, which are essentially just dammed up parts of a river. And again, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead, push that red button down below to subscribe right now. Push the bell next to it to get notifications when I put my videos out. In addition to these vlog style 262 Fishing Friday forums, which I put out Friday mornings at 9 a.m., I also put out a fishing video every week on what I call 262 Tuesdays, where on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock I put out a fishing video every week. And if you're subscribed, or even if you're not, share this video. We're finally over 200. Let's get to 250 subscribers so we can get the giveaway going so that you can win that lure kit. If you're local to Waukesha County, comment down below as well. Let me know where you'd like me to fish next, and that's where I'll head to. And along those lines, I try and put my videos out a couple weeks after I film them, so I've got a little bit of a grace period for working. So if you recommended a lake to me, it might be a couple weeks before you see it, but I'll get there. And as always, folks, remember, it doesn't matter if you go around the world or go around the corner, just as long as you go fishing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the water.